Welcome, everyone. It's so nice to see so many smiling faces on this very hot evening. I'm glad you're all here and you're sitting in your air conditioning, I hope. My name is Judy Florian. I'm Vice President for Voter Services for the League of Women Voters of Michigan. With me tonight are Sarah Warner, our LWVMI Project Manager, and Co-Presidents Lynn Kozmansky and Denise Hartsoff. We're pleased you've joined us for this orientation. For those of you who have observed in prior years, you will notice some changes in training and setup, which Sarah is going to review in a few minutes. I asked you all to please put your audio on mute during the presentation so we can avoid distractions. So let's look at our agenda for the evening. We're going to be talking about, next slide, Sarah. What is the Board of Canvassers? Why the League observes the Board of Canvassers meetings, a little bit about our program history, what the role is of a Board of Canvasser observer, some observer guidelines. We're also going to do a presentation of some new training modules and a new sign-up process. We will leave questions and answers until the very end. I ask that you either put your questions in the chat or we will call on you at the end of the presentation. So how many of you have observed a Board of Canvassers meeting before? Okay, looks like we have some new folks. So let's just briefly review. What is a Board of Canvassers? It's a bipartisan 4-member panel, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans in every Michigan county. They are responsible for officially certifying election results independent of city clerks and of local election administrators. When the polls close on election day, each precinct's poll book, statement of votes, sealed ballots, and other election materials are delivered to the County Board of Canvassers. Each of Michigan's 83 counties has their own board. The Board of Canvassers members canvass each precinct by reviewing each precinct's election materials. They summarize and report vote totals to be sure that they're accurate and complete. They also will conduct recounts and inspections if necessary, and they determine local election results. So after reviewing all of the materials, they declare the winners of the races and results of the ballot proposals, then they certify. The certification is ministerial and clerical in nature, and the board cannot refuse to certify. County canvassing must start no later than 2 days after Election Day and must be completed and the results certified within 14 days of the election. So why do we observe the Board of Canvassers? First of all, to safeguard election integrity. Our presence helps ensure elections are free from partisan interference at the certification stage. Many local clerks have said, county clerks have said that they appreciate the League's presence, and they're happy to have us there observing the process. Also, it provides us statewide coverage. The League works to provide trained observers across all 83 counties. It also builds public trust in the process. We are visible, we are nonpartisan observers, we show that the process is open and watched on the public's behalf. We also document and escalate, which means we file standardized reports to provide feedback. We also will escalate any issues that may occur at the canvassing sessions. If there's any shenanigans going around or people that are trying to subvert the canvass process, and those are escalated up to our rapid response network and reviewed by election attorneys to see if they need to be escalated up. Okay, in terms of our program history, we started this as a pilot project back in 2020. We started this at the request of election attorney Mark Brewer, who suggested that we have observers at these canvassing meetings after Wayne County had a very contested certification and some of the canvassers were trying not to certify the election. Can I please ask people to put themselves on mute? Thank you. In 2022, we expanded this statewide when the Michigan Department of State challenged us to cover all 83 counties. And this was when we officially formalized our program. We felt in 2025 that the program had matured because we had the highest numbers in terms of observers. We had 104 observers across 26 local leagues. They filed 172 shift reports, which are the highest that we'd ever had. We also had the gas card program, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes, and a post-canvas debrief meeting, all of which have become the standard. Next slide. Now that we have a mature program, one of the things we found out in the 2025 election that we had 18 counties that were not observed. And our goal for 2026 is to have observers in at least all 83 counties. These are the counties that were not observed. And if you are inclined to travel, we have gas cards available to help you defray your travel costs. These cards are on a first come, first served basis. And there is a form to request a gas card after you have served at least one canvas shift. So keep that in mind if you want to travel out, venture out a little bit and help us cover some of these counties. The role of a Board of Canvassers observer is pretty simple. We observe, we do not interfere. We are there to record what happens during the canvas meetings. We can ask questions of the clerk if the canvassing is not going on, if it's like a break time, but we don't really ask questions of the canvassing board. Our standards are very clear. We are nonpartisan. We are highly respectful of the process, and we always dress and act in a professional manner. In terms of program requirements, we do require you to complete mandatory training, and you must follow the observation guidelines. These guidelines are pretty simple. Wear a league badge or name tag. Some of you may have official league badges. If you don't, we do have a name tag template that you can print your own name tag and you will have that available to you. Also, when you are at the canvassing meeting, state your purpose on why you're there. Say that you are observing the certification on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Michigan. The Michigan Department of State provides every county canvass board with a county canvass checklist, and these are the items that each board reviews in terms of the election materials. You will receive a copy of this checklist and you can take notes on the checklist to find out what types of things they are covering and where they are in the process. We also ask that you submit a Board of Canvassers shift report within 2 hours after your shift. This way, if there's anything that needs to be brought to our attention or sent to the Election Protection Board, we can get those things to them quickly. If you notice any disruptions or irregularities in the process, there could be a canvasser that's trying to stall the process. They don't want to certify, whatever the reason. It looks wrong to you or it's disruptive. You need to call me immediately, even if you're not sure if it's something that you should raise to that level. I'd rather you go ahead and call me even if you're not sure. You will get my phone number, my cell phone, and I will determine whether or not that disruption needs to be escalated up to the next level. Also, in your observation, remain nonpartisan at all times. Refrain from making any public comments. There may be other observers there that try and get you to talk to them about partisan issues, and you are not to do that. So we'll learn more about that in your training. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, and she's going to talk about our training modules.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Warner. I'm your project manager for Board of Canvassers. Just a real quick reminder, if you're not muted, you should be. I'm going to run through our training modules that we have. So this year we're doing something a little bit different. Those of you who have observed in the past have gone through our training with our superstar, Mark Brewer. He's involved again this year. Don't worry, you're still going to see him. But we actually set up a course for you now through Thinkific, which has individual training modules. So we start with module 1, which does a little bit of an introduction, similar to what Judy has done here for us tonight, but it goes into more detail. Module 2 will also talk about the law, what allows us to be there, and the kind of protections that are in place. And then Module 3 talks about, if you see something, say something. It walks you through some examples of scenarios and also how to create your shift reports and things like that. Module 4 will talk to you about how to sign up for the shifts because we're using a new platform for that as well. And then Module 5 will be for our observer leads, especially if you're new this year, but I highly recommend that you review it. 1 through 3 are going to be mandatory. I even put in a fun quiz or two at the end for you to make sure that you were paying attention. But you will need to complete them, and I will be able to see if you don't complete them. So I'll be watching you. Also, they're all available 24/7. So if you are someone who wakes up at 3 a.m. with hot flashes like me, you can watch them at 3 a.m. You want to do it during the day, that's fine. Once you can stop and start them, you can come back to them. You don't have to do them all at once. You can do them in stages. So we're hoping that this will make them a little more bite-sized for you. They run between 10 and 30 minutes a piece, but you'll be able to do them at your leisure. All of those modules are going to go live the last week of July. But here's a little sneak peek. So when you go, there will be a link that you'll be able to use. The link will take you directly here to this course. There will be the videos here, and it'll say, module 1, module 2, very self-explanatory. Mark and I created these together and we recorded them together. And so again, if you missed Mark, you'll see him again. Don't worry. And then this is a sample of the quizzes you'll see at the end. They're fairly simple, they're very straightforward. They're based on the material that you just watched in the module video, so you should be able to pass them. You will have to have a passing grade in order to move on to the next module. I know it feels a little like school, but it's really important that we make sure that everybody has all of the tools and the knowledge that they need to do this super important job, and we really appreciate you taking the time to complete them all. Now, I also mentioned that there's a new sign-up tool this year. So we are not using Sign Up Genius this year. We've moved on to a new tool that's shared with our democracy partners so that we're all kind of using the same type of toolkit here. But it's going to allow you to see exactly where that watching is going to be taking place, where you're going to be observing. You'll be able to see the shifts. You'll be able to search by zip code. And observer leads will have limited access to see additional information. This is also a fantastic tool that allows us to keep in contact with you, to remind you about your shift reports. We'll be able to send you out any materials that you need, and you will still be able to get in contact with myself or Judy as needed. Any questions?
There is a question in the chat, Sarah.
I
It's
see.
do modules need to be completed before the August canvas?
Yes, you will need to complete the modules before the August canvas. Now, again, just 1 through 3 are mandatory, and then 4 and 5 are optional for you. They will be going live very soon, but we're just finishing up a little bit of the coursework and the sign up stuff. So that will be going live within the next week or two.
And one other question that I see is, oh, there's some more popping in. What is the new tool? I'm assuming this is from Chris Wiggins. I'm assuming he's asking about the sign up tool. Is that
Yeah,
correct,
so
Chris?
the sign up tool is the similar platform that's used by the ACLU. If you are familiar with some of their action tools, it will be hosted on that platform, and it's getting migrated over next week. And so the platform will be complete as of next week. And the new tool will be Thinkific for the training modules. Christina, I see that you asked, how do we manage our observers at the league level? Again, observer leads will have access to the back end of this tool so that you will be able to see your observers and their contact information, and you'll be able to send email blasts and alerts out to them in real time.
I see Marcia's hand up. Marcia, do you have a question?
No, I don't, Judy. I'm sorry. That was
That's
for
okay.
another thing.
Okay.
All right, so links to the platform and tool will be sent out to everyone who has signed up to observe, and you will not have to log in to do that. Yes, you will get a reminder about the modules when they go live. In fact, we'll send out a notification to you all to let you know that they're live and that you can start accessing them. Same thing with the sign up.
Someone's asking about the dates for the August canvas.
Yep, we are still confirming the dates with all of our boards of elections. And so that all will be in the training.
And just so you know, Election Day is August 4th, so they have to begin no later than August 6th, which is 2 days after Election Day, and they must certify by the 18th of August. That's the 14-day window, if that helps.
No, it cannot send texts as well as emails to my knowledge.
Will we get a reminder about the modules when they go live? Did we answer that already?
We did, and the answer is yes. I am also putting my email here in the chat in case you have any additional questions after this Zoom. Part of the reason that we did these modules so that they are able to be done asynchronously is because we know that folks will not be on every Zoom. It's hard for us all to be here all together all at once. That's part of the reason that we set up the modules in a course for you so that if you missed anything, all of the information here tonight and more will be in those modules.
I have a question.
Hi,
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Hello. Suppose we have someone sign up for the shift and they haven't done the mandatory modules. Are we supposed to be monitoring that, or are you going to?
Yeah, as the observer leads, we would expect you to make sure that all of your observers are
I'm not
prepared
the observer
for
lead.
their shifts. But I will also be double checking. Now, I am going to flag that there are 83 counties in Michigan, so I am going to be leaning on my observer leads to make sure their team's all ready and all set.
How many observer leads do we have here with us? Okay, Mindy. Who else?
Christina.
We have Joanne Linkelman. It looks like Alice Schumann is also here as a lead.
Alice, you have a question?
Nope, I just wanted to show that I was the lead.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, I'm reading more questions here in the chat. Will everyone on the webinar be sent the link to sign up for the modules? Yes, if you are signed up to observe, you will get a link both to the modules and to the sign up for your shifts. There will be a separate sign up to observe, yes. Lynn, looks like you've contacted your county clerk to get the dates and times. I will be doing that for everybody. We'll be sending it out for everyone. It's fine if you want to do that, but I will be doing it so you don't have to. I also want to flag that we are going to be sending out a document in advance this year to each one of our board of our county clerks so that they know, again, who the league is, why we're observing, that we are nonpartisan, that our observers are not there to interfere or challenge, just to set the stage for you a little bit. We will also have that available in the tools on the course module.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Catherine?
Yes, if someone's not here tonight, should they watch this recording and do the modules? So I guess my question is it necessary? Should we do both?
Mhm.
Yep, okay.
I strongly encourage them to watch this recording, mainly because number one of the questions that you're asking, it's good that they have the questions, hear the questions, and also understand the timelines for the modules. So yes, they should, and we'll send the link out. And if you need the link for someone, just let me know, and I'll be happy to send it.
And also, again, we'll send you out a notification when the
listening.
modules are fully live and the sign up is live.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question. Are any of you interested in venturing out to the 18 counties that we haven't been able to cover?
I can get them
Barb?
pulled back up in case nobody remembers what they are.
Okay, Barb, you're interested? Which county? You're muted.
I could go to Shiawassee.
Lake County is the one I was thinking of because we have property there and I could be up there. I could potentially be up there.
Is that Barb speaking?
That is Barb
Yes.
speaking.
Okay, Lake County. Who said Shiawassee? Shiawassa.
I do.
That's Alan Link.
Alan. Okay, great. Anybody else?
I see there are some raised hands.
Christina?
Changed it back. I didn't realize you already had the squash in there.
We might be able to, but I couldn't commit to that until I know that we have our 3 counties taken care of. So you can put us down for a big maybe.
For which county?
Osceola.
Osceola? Okay. Well, we'll connect, and if you have enough coverage in your own county, then we'll see if you can venture out.
We have a
Thank
couple
you.
other raised hands as well.
Yeah, we've done it in the past, so I'll let you know.
Thank you. Appreciate
Looks
it.
like we have Joe Foley also has their hand raised, as well as Mary Owens.
Yes, I'm in Marquette. We've usually tried to cover Alger and Dickinson.
Okay.
We haven't had our meetings coming up next week, I believe. So I don't know that for sure, but we have in the past.
Super. Okay, just let us know. That would be great.
Sure.
This is Mary Owens, and I hit that hand by mistake, and I can't get it off of there.
I got you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can read the chat again in case more questions are coming in.
Lynn. Shanna, okay.
Also, thank you again to all of our observer leads and for those observers willing to travel outside of their county.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can hit 100% this year. That's our goal.
Hi, Amy, I see your hand up.
Hello. Isn't Schoolcraft under Kalamazoo? Or is there another Schoolcraft that I don't know about in Michigan?
Yeah, there's a Schoolcraft town and township that's by us, Amy, and then there's a Schoolcraft county that's up north.
Thank you. Learning my
Christina.
geography.
Do you want to go, Amy?
I'm a little busy right now.
Christina, I see your hands back up again.
Thank you. How many counties are we potentially covering from other organizations?
We don't know that yet. We've had an interest form that's been sent out to our non-league members, our democracy partners, and I believe we've had 10 that have signed up that they're interested in joining the observation program. And I'm in the process of following up with them because we are not sure which areas they're willing to cover. So we're working on that part.
But it is exciting that we have our democracy partners working with us this year. Again, it's fantastic to have more people around the table.
Yes,
And
it is. Thank you.
it's actually great because they realize how valuable this program is and they want to join in on the fun. So that's a good thing. Jan.
Do you consider a county kind of observed? Obviously, we can't do every shift in every county. So in other words, what do we consider as being a county that is observed? This first meeting, the certification meeting,
What you'll learn in the training is the first meeting's really important so we can get the schedule. Obviously, we want to have somebody there for the certification, but it's also good to have people in between because if there's anything that's going on that's disruptive or causing issues, we want to make sure that we know those, right? You know, ideally, we could cover every meeting, but that's not going to be realistic. But we do want to find out what's going on, especially during this election year, because there's some concern that there might be some potential disruptions that could occur.
Second question, and I think it was maybe a couple of years ago, I think Mark talked about counties that were hotspots or that we wanted to make sure that we had coverage, that they were expecting things. Do we know any specific counties that we really need to be at?
We are working with our democracy partners now. There is a group that is actually looking at those, what we call vulnerable counties, and we will have a list of those.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up, though. I appreciate it. Lynn.
I have someone else in Mount Pleasant who may want to observe, and I don't think she has before, and I don't see her in this list, so she may just watch it later. If she does observe in Isabella County, I could do Gratiot.
Okay. Lynn, could you send me her name offline? Just send me an email.
Sure, sure,
That name.
sure.
Kathy,
Yeah, I just want to confirm that I understand each county has a lead observer, correct?
that's our goal.
Yeah, not each local league has an observer, each county. Okay, so I am one of those lead observers. So I just want to make sure I've got a county, Clinton County. Okay, I get it. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Kathy. Christina.
Thank you. Sometimes the certification meeting is nothing more than the canvassers getting together to sign because they've gone through everything. In the past, it's been perfectly acceptable to get that confirmation via telephone. Will that be consistent this year?
I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't.
Okay, because some of those move ballots, they have to wait, but everything else is done.
That's very typical, especially with the smaller counties. And they don't have a lot of move ballots, but they have to wait that 6 days for them to come in. So yeah, that certainly is something that you can do, is just confirm by telephone that the certification, and then file a shift report to indicate that. Lynn.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. Following up, Christina, for you, I believe in one of the trainings, because I've looked through them all and they're excellent, by the way. They do talk about some counties doing contingency votes ahead of, like, a contingency signing, so that you kind of know they're going to sign off and then they have to wait formally for the move ballots. So they're not all counties will do that, but some counties do have that step in there.
And that's probably going to be more typical for the August primary, because the turnout for August is probably going to be smaller than November. So kind of keep that in mind, since that's what we're going to be observing right now. Other questions?
There are a couple in the chat. One from Chris again. Are any of the hot spots that you were referencing earlier on the missing county list?
To be honest with you, Chris, I don't remember. I was afraid somebody was going to ask me that question. No, I don't have that list offhand, but we'll make sure that we coordinate that not covered counties with the naughty list, as Sarah says.
I also want to flag the question was if our democracy partners who are not league members be required to do the training. Yes, the training's for everybody. It is not specific to the league. And so we would like all the folks involved to do the training. I promise it's not very cumbersome. In fact, it can be kind of fun.
And our democracy partners are aware of that. You know, they know that they need, to lack of a better term, they know they need to play by our rules, and this is our program. And so they need to wear our name tag and go through the training just like all the other observers. So that's very important.
Michelle has a
question. I don't know if you saw it. Sarah, were you going to answer that or no?
Michelle's question is, I'm a newbie at this. Would I be the only one observing for the league? Well, we encourage you to bring a friend if a friend would like to come and observe with you for the league. Ideally, we'd like our observers not to be the only ones there, but I don't know if that answers your question.
Sarah,
I guess
go ahead. Go ahead,
I was
Denise.
just going to say it might depend on what county Michelle is in, because like in some counties, we have a whole cadre of people who like to go do Board of Canvassers observation. We don't all go at the same time, but there's a whole team that's working on it. And then maybe in another county, there might be one person who's going to go for the league. So it just depends.
And Lynn from Mount Pleasant has said, in the past, I've been the only observer in small counties. I think that's pretty common. So thanks, Lynn, for
And
that.
again, feel free to encourage a friend to sign up and join us. We can give them the training too. So if you don't want to go alone, bring a friend.
And when you're going through the training, if you have any questions or concerns, just let Sarah know. I mean, contact her or whatever. That's what we're here for. Anything else? Boy, you want to be let out early, don't you?
Oh, Sherry's got a question. Sherry wants to know if she works at the primary voting day for her city, can she also observe the Board of Canvassers? And the answer is yes, because they're not on the same day.
Right. Yeah, this is all post-election. So if you're working election day, that's great. We're glad you are. But we'll keep you working after the election.
Kathy has raised her hand.
Yeah, thank you. So with this primary election, would we expect any trouble at all? I sort of figure we're going just to kind of practice and see how things go for November. Are they anticipating any trouble? And
You know, I always say be prepared. You know,
right, right,
we
right.
don't
But
want
I
to
mean,
borrow trouble. We don't want to invite trouble, but we want to be
right,
ready in case there is.
Right.
sure. But that question about whether counties, whether we got trouble, I mean, I don't know, it seems um, yeah. At least locally, I'm not anticipating you know, drama, but you never know.
Well, and to be honest with you, we've always made the comment in the past that the Board of Canvassers can be pretty boring. You know, you're sitting there for a 2-hour shift. There's people, they're looking through paperwork and you're sitting there taking notes and observing. And somebody said to me once it was like watching paint dry on the wall, right? And we hope it's boring. We don't want to have any shenanigans going on. But as Sarah said, she's absolutely right. We need to be prepared. And we don't know if anything will happen in August. We don't know if anything will happen in November, but this will be a good test run for us, I think.
And I just want to jump on that really quick. Now, we cover this in the training as well. When you do your shifts report, if it was boring, we want to know. We want to know that it was boring as watching paint dry and everything went according to plan. That's just as important as incident reports because we need to know where things are going the way that they're supposed to and where the system is working.
Right.
Right.
I have a
Sylvia, I
question.
see your hand up.
Yeah, it's about something that Judy said early on tonight. I do Macomb County, and they have 4 canvassers that all like one will do St. Clair Shores and one will do East Point, and when I've been there in the past, I'll just ask, Sarah, I says, what city are you working on? I just like to know who's doing what, like who's doing Shelby Township and who's doing Macomb Township. And the clerk is usually nowhere to be seen. It's usually me and the canvassers sitting there and their helpers.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, is that okay?
Sure, that's okay to ask.
No, okay.
Sure.
I mean, I understand, I understand that, they're doing kind of tedious, meticulous work. And
Right.
I don't want to be distracting them, but I always like to, just sitting there watching 4 people, 12 feet away from you, turning pages on something, and you don't even know who or what they're looking at.
Right.
I don't even know how to write a shift report of that.
Don't worry, we'll show you.
Yeah. No, but it's like if somebody's commenting, I would like to know which township or city that was.
Right. Yeah, and Denise makes a good point in the chat. Canvassing is handled very differently in different counties. In Van Buren, they all work on one precinct together with the clerk. And in Wayne County, we can have, the Democrat and Republican working on one precinct, and we can have the other Democrat and Republican working on another precinct. So it just varies depending on probably the size of the county and the amount of paperwork that they have to go through. So that's why we have to be flexible when we're observing, right? And Sylvia, your question, we prefer you ask the clerk, but you're right. If the clerk's not there, I found that the canvassers don't mind if you ask, which precinct are you working on or something like that. That's a pretty innocuous question. It's not something that you're interfering in any way. So,
Just don't interrupt them to ask it.
right, right.
Christine, I see your hands up.
Oh, just a comment to somebody's question about are we just practicing? Bad actors might be just practicing too, so we need to be there.
Good point.
Well put. You know what they say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Any other questions, comments? Well, we've had 51 people here tonight, which I think is great since we had over 100 register. So with that kind of interest for our program, I think we're off to a good start. So if there's no other questions, Sarah will be ready to give you the next steps on what to expect with the training modules and the sign up. And we've got both of our emails in the chat. If you need to talk to either one of us, let us know.
Yeah, just to review, you will get a notification when the sign up is open, the sign up for shifts, and you will get a notification when the course is live for everyone to do their training. We're working to get that up as soon as possible. So our goal is next week, but at latest it will be at the beginning of the last week of July.
Right. Anything else for the good of the order?
Catherine.
I should have asked this earlier. So, our person in Washington County who's not here tonight, she wants to perhaps supplement the sign up, which we've done in the past because we might have more than the number of people that the sign up genius in the past had. So like, are you designated in a certain number of spots for each shift?
Yes, and I'm able to set up a wait list this year with our new platform. The nice thing about having a wait list is if somebody cancels or can't make their shift, we can pull someone off of the wait list, or we can contact people on the wait list to say, hey, we're full for this shift, but the neighboring county still has some spots open. Can we ask you to go over there?
So it seems like there'd be no reason for my lead to create her own sign up genius.
No reason. She'll
No
have
reason.
access to the sign up as a
Yep.
lead anyway.
Okay.
And she'll be
Thank
able to
you.
see the wait list.
Mhm.
Anything else? Thank you all so much for your interest. We really appreciate it. And August is going to be here before we know it. So rest up and stay tuned. Thanks again for coming.